See, the definition of God, what we carry, is something else than what you say. What, according to me, what I have my understanding as of now is, we say Ram, Krishna, Jesus. Well, this we think are God. But according to you, these are not gods. They are kings, creator, the creations and their sons maybe.
Yes.
But the God what you talk is different than what we perceive. So what he says is, you connect to that God directly. So then there is no question of getting into this group.
Yeah. Even if you don't connect, this is your last life.
But I'm attached to my children, right? So I want them to have the same beautiful life.
You see, when you are with God, oh, and you added one more rider that you want them to have. So one part is attachment and the other part is your wanting. That they must have a life free, if not beautiful, at least free from pain. Right? But the whole problem is your son is on his own journey. Your children are on their own journey. Who are you going to decide? How are you going to decide how their life will be? At the most, you can make them probably learn it by sending them to the best of the schools and colleges if they can go through. At the most, you can earn a lot of money and leave it for them so that they can enjoy the luxuries of life. But how do you know in the end all these will be with them to serve them? People who are rich, they are also miserable. People who are very learned, they are also miserable. How can you ensure that your children are going to have the best of life?
But right now, at present, if I'm not able to see her in that pain or the suffering that she's going through, then what do I do?
You release on that. You see, my son has been a total failure in his life.
You're talking about your son?
My son.
Okay.
That doesn't give me any pain. Why? Because the first pain I had to release is I failed as a father. Now I tell people that I am an utter failure as a human. I have failed as a husband, I have failed as a father, I have failed as the son of my parents, I have failed as a brother, I have failed as in many other ways. So I have a big list of failure in my life and a very small list of success in my life, which means that created a whole list of pain in me, where I saw others were much better off than me, they performing much better than me and delivering much more than me. So at some point of time, as I kept on releasing, as I kept on talking about this to God, I became free from all pain in my life. Because pain is not really about what my son became or could not become. The pain was put in me and connected with my son's failure. It did not come from my son. It did not come from within me, looking at my son. It came from outside of me and it was connected to my son, making me believe that I am in pain because my son is a failure. But that is not true. That is the hypnosis I was in. Today I know my pain has nothing to do with my son. It has to do everything with me and I can release it. And it has got nothing to do with whether he is successful or failure. And on what scale am I really evaluating him being successful or a failure? Just because he is alive, that itself shows he is not a failure. He is doing something to be alive. And it may not be within my expectations. So just because it is not within my expectations, I say he is a failure. But yeah, from a society perspective, he is a failure.
If I know that what my daughter has taken some step, okay, and it's to follow the truth, and because of that she is suffering, Then how do I bring her out of it?
You don't bring her out. You just ask her, what did you learn from the step that you took? And is this lesson something that you value? Which means it taught you something. And maybe your daughter will say that she has no regret. Like my son has no regret.
Yeah, even she says that.
And if she has no regret, why do you have pain then?
Because I can't see her, because I'm seeing that she's through that pain.
Yeah, I understand. As a human, I see the humanity in pain. And for me, how is my son more dear to me than the other humans? It is because of the hypnosis. The hypnosis tells that this individual is me, an extension of me, mine. And that is where you are cursing yourself for everything happening to that body-mind organism.
Yeah, but whatever she did it for me. That's why I feel.
Irrespective of that. Yet it was her choice to do.
How?
And in that choice, whatever she did, let her learn a lesson. I always tell my son, learn a lesson and move ahead.
My other daughter feels that I was the one who forced her into taking that action.
These are all the drama of life. But you can go beyond the drama and release your pain. Your pain is real. And I just say, release it. It's possible to release. Just talk to God about all your pain because of the drama that happened. And then eventually, at some point, you will become free.
So you're saying I should talk to this book
Talk to the image.
and then see if magic happens.
He says you take the mantra or talk the image or read the book or talk that
The book.
or talk the card. There are 4 options he has given. But anyway, now let me ask my questions which I Now, what about this 7 births you took over this 22,000 years to come in this 2,000 years back? It started your journey. 7 births it took to rebirths to come and all. Then in those 7 births, you also went through the karmic cycle, all this, and you were this and this and this and this and this. I'm asking you that did it happen like for you also like that?
So that is the question.
Yeah, the question. And then why 2,000 years? Why not 800 years before or 1200 or 1500? It took 2,000 years for you to come.
You see, whatever you consider to be the human passage of time is not the same passage in the realm where the planning happens. That's number one. Number two, my journey as a human did not start 2000 years ago. It started 600 years ago. At the same time that Kabir was. So that was when I took my first birth. The third thing is this soul had to go through different star systems of this universe. So after it left 2000 years, it went through many other star systems. It created bodies there. It experienced many things. And the incarnation, the last incarnation before my first human birth was I was a Syrian, which was I was from the Sirius star system.
What is serial?
Syrian is a star system. It's a constellation in which I was a Syrian. The people who live there are known as Syrian.
Okay. Human, but human being.
No, they're not human. They are kind of aliens.
But you
They're
said,
much taller than us.
but you said that once you are human, you'll go on.
But I said the last incarnation in the world outside, it's the human journey. Before my human journey began, I was a Syrian.
Okay.
And then my first human journey began, and then this is the seventh one. And none of them were anything which was outstanding. But one thing was very outstanding was the amount of pain and suffering that I went through, the worst of the worst, in order to understand what is the world that I am going to work in when God comes to me. So my sadhana was only about suffering and pain. It was not about evolving spiritually.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And then you also said that about the planets. Actually, the planets, we say planets are moving and all these things, And you say that doesn't, it is all, this is also a illusion.
Yeah. So God told me that
Which goes exactly opposite the science.
true, because whatever science is nothing but a part of the hypnosis which is exploring the laws of the universe. But God says all the laws of the universe, like say gravity, like electromagnetism, or any other law that there are, thermodynamics, and these are the laws in our third dimension. In the other dimensions, there are different laws. So every law that exists in every dimension is created in the mind of the king and in the dream of the king, and they appear so real that the scientific world finds them fascinating, and they are like, how do I use these laws for my comfort, for my power, for playing the control game, for playing the game of luxury, for playing the game of lavishness, and to explore other universes or planets.
The law of vibration, the law of resonance, the law of...
As the king wants us to play that game. And because it wants us to play that game, it creates a certain repeatability factor, which means
small percentage. So that
percentage
creates
within the hypnosis of the individuals, so that the individual believes. It's something like we heat the water starts boiling at 100 degrees centigrade. It's a law. But King wants us to believe that. And because King wants us to believe that, it shows up as real for every human. And there are many things that Kings wants only a few individuals to believe, that they become subjective reality. So we have objective reality, we have subjective reality. In the objective reality, everything shows up as having a commonality. Now we call that as scientific things. In the subjective reality, there is no commonality, and so science doesn't give them any credibility.
right.
Yet, both are created from the hypnosis, both are real to the one who are experiencing it. It's just that subjective means it doesn't fall in the realm of common people. Objective means everybody is experiencing the same thing. Now from that place, now God says, these are small things. Now let's extend it to the universe. Now God says, I gave the king 21 universe. What did he do with it? Did he really? He actually created God gave the universe as just objects. Not moving, not rotating, not having any heat, not having any light, not having any trajectory. It left to the king, you do whatever you want to do with these objects. But did the king really do anything to the objects? No. King created the hypnosis of the objects having certain attributes. The attributes of rotation, attributes of spinning on an axis, attributes of heat, attributes of light, attributes of showing up, attributes of going into a black hole,
And Big Bang.
and everything the king is creating in order to create the illusion of objective reality. And this is what we call as the science. And that is why science will not agree to it. But God says this is just a part of the gossip I gave you. God doesn't give us much gossip.
No, it's like how we see the video games. I mean, 100 years back, we could not even believe, but now we see virtual reality, and this is happening more and more. AI, and then you said something ASI, and then ASS, and soon
Right now, you see the difference.
GI or something like that.
The first thing I tell people that I'm not basically a computer guy, IT guy, technical guy. I'm a BCom. But I just tell people that because I'm fascinated with reality. Okay? And so I look reality in different ways. There's a reality I'm creating in my dream. Very solid. As real as right now, the way I'm experiencing you. there's a reality I'm creating in my world, this waking world,
Right.
which seems to be real, but God says it is still a hypnosis. Now, if I examine the reality I'm creating in my dream and the reality I'm creating in the waking state, there's only one difference. And that one difference is every time I go into my dream, I cannot create a continuity.
Right.
The dream starts from some other place. But every time I wake up from my sleep, I have a continuity to this reality. And because this reality has a continuity, so I say this is real. And because that reality doesn't have a continuity, I say that is a dream, that is fake.
Right.
If someday the king makes that reality also a continuity, now I will be confused. Where am I actually living?
Yeah.
This one or that one? And that confusion can drive me into insanity. And that's why the king says, if you become insane, who will prepare my food?
So that's Lao Tzu's famous statement. Am I dreaming I'm a butterfly, or the butterfly dreaming that I am
True.
that butterfly here in this? So that it's a...
Is exactly like that. And you talked about the virtual reality. And yeah, the day is coming when the virtual reality will be much more real
than this.
than this reality, because they are going to bring in, it's all a game of pixels. They are now going to bring the pixels so closer that it will create a reflection. Image is nothing but a reflection, which our brain will process as to be much more vibrant than the world that we are currently living in. And what will cause all these things to happen? That is where the AI comes in. Now, about AI, most people assume AI, they do not yet have the distinction between automation and artificial intelligence. Automation is something like, let's say you have a car, you can make it automatic. You can make it self-driving. That is not AI. The difference between automation and AI is you are giving freedom to the software to evolve beyond your coding.
Oh.
In automation, you are not giving that software any freedom to evolve beyond your coding. Now, this is the one fundamental distinction. And that is why currently, whatever we call this chat GPT, the bots or everything, they are AI, because we call them machine learning, we call them other terminology. They are learning.
And
They're
they are
not-
also evolving on its own.
They are evolving on its own. That's why it is AI. Now, right now, the evolution is very rudimentary, with not really much. But with the AGI coming in, artificial general intelligence, it will be able to evolve much faster. And the day artificial super intelligence comes in, ASI, that day the humans will become the slaves of the AI.
But we will not be there only like it.
Of course, we will not be there, but that is a future projection of AI.
Okay.
And
But
that's
then this whole universe will run without any human beings. Or those other type of human.
after we die, after God goes, we do not know what the king is going to become of this universe. Because in my last meeting yesterday, someone dragged out certain informations from me, and I told them that, listen, there are three kinds of humans living on this planet. The first kind is known as the souled beings. The second one is known as the non-souled beings. Now, non-souled beings means they are now having a group souls which has sourced them. Souled beings means every individual has their own soul. But there is a third group of human that has started coming into this planet for quite some time, maybe after the Second World War or maybe after the First World War. They come from the second lower world. And they are the ones who are bringing in technology. They are the ones who are bringing in science. And these are the aliens. They are not sourced by any souls.
So this artificial intelligence may be a part of their...
They are the ones who are bringing in this artificial intelligence. They are the ones who brought in all the coding. They are the ones who brought in all the computers. They are the ones who brought in all the technology. And that is why in last 100 years progress, it did not happen for last 100, 200, 300, 400, whatever you want to go.
So when you say the second, this has come from the second world, you just now said.
Second lower world.
Second lower, that means there are 7. So this
7 lower worlds.
So, I mean, how you can say that it's second on the earth?
Because I can access the... The king is allowed, because what is happening, the souls are now going to leave, and king still needs the humans. So now king is going to create the robotic humans. So that journey has started. And very interesting thing, these ones who are the aliens, they are the most successful people on this planet. They are the top politicians. They are the top businessmen. They are the top scientists. They are also the top musicians. They are the top architects. They are the top of everything, because their knowledge is not just science and technology. They are basically brilliant creators. They are also someone who are very authoritative. They are also someone who knows how to control people. And those who are souled beings, they are all mostly in the lower strata of life. Most of the beggars you will find are souled beings. So they go through high kind of what we call as suffering and pain, and which is how they are creating food for the king. Those who are on the aliens, they don't have much suffering in their life. They are like automates.
So they too have this astral body and energy body.
They too have the astral body, energy body, and this repeating. So
They don't have any energy body. They have spirit. All their bodies which appear to be energetic are given by the king, not by God.
So how do you identify them?
You cannot.
So how did it all start, Pradip? The first point of starting, that Adam and Eve in that Bible, they say our scriptures say something as Manu was the first human being.
Yeah, we have a narrative. God gave a different narrative, and the narrative that God gave was also given by Kabir 600 years back, that it all started when one son of God went against his own father, and up to a point father tolerated it. It also happened when other sons of God got attracted to that son.
But that first original Paramatma, he could have said, I don't want to start this only process.
I don't want to
Start this process.
This process
Of this son. That was his question.
Why was that son created in the first place?
Son created or son went against that first.
But God doesn't control anyone.
He allowed it.
He's in allowing. And so this son did everything.
And then all that story started.
And then the whole story started.
So this may be 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 years back. Before 10,000 years.
No. It's a long way back.
More than 10,000.
Because in between, many creations have happened, and they went out of creation, which means multiple times the king has died and been born.
So more than 10,000. 10,000.
Do not bring in that thing called 10,000 years, because time is an illusion. For them, whatever the scale, let's say our 10,000 years is their 10 days. So comparing it like how old this must be, it may not be old in their perception. It was just yesterday or day before yesterday. So it's a different game. Their world is different, our world is different. And we cannot take the scales of our measurement scales of our world to try to scale their world.
But if the king has died and he has been born again he is doing the same thing.
Yeah, because it is the curse continues. That is why king keeps on doing the same thing. But of course, every time he makes different creations, It's not the same creation that happens.
About your son. So I presume you're seeing your son as a human. Is it because he didn't relate to you? You're seeing him as a human.
Uh, he didn't relate to me. That is why I'm seeing him as human.
And not as God or king. No, I'm talking about your son. You spoke about your son, right?
I said my son is a failure within the parameters of the society.
Okay. I thought your actual son.
Yeah, I actually saw it too.
So yeah, so see
Yes, son.
biological son. So you're seeing him as a human, not as a king or a god.
This is going up in the international. And my son, if he looks at Daddy, what are you doing?
Sorry if it's
No, but you can continue.
so since you're seeing him as a human and not as king or god, is it because he doesn't relate or
But why would I see him as king and God?
I'm asking you, why did you not see him as king or god? But
Because he is not, he is only a human. I'm trying to understand your question. Maybe you're not languaging it.
could be. But so my point is, why don't you see him as a king or god?
Because he is not.
So why he's not?
Because you are not.
Okay.
One of my friend has asked me this question to be asked to you, that she's having a Tom and Jerry relationship with her daughter, and like all the time fighting going between her and she. So she said, I mean, just find out like why this is happening, why this suffering of so many years we are going through with each other. Like my daughter is and me, both of her are just every day fighting for something, and there's probably somebody seeing outside will find there's no meaning, matlab there is no logic, but we still continue to do that thing.
First thing, this is the storyline that you will keep on fighting with each other. Second thing, you both are trying to be right. That is why you are fighting with each other. Third thing, you both are trying to change the other one. That is why you are fighting with each other. Fourth thing, you are enjoying the drama because that drama also brings up what we call as the dopamine effect, and that makes you come alive, and that is why you are fighting with yourself. The next thing is you don't have anything more interesting to do in life. That is why you both are fighting with yourself. If you had anything more interesting to do, you wouldn't waste your energy in these things.
Wonderful.
So what is the end, Pradip? What is the end?
One day both will die.
No, not this. End of all this.
Oh, you're talking about all this creation? There is no going to be end. It is just that once the soul lives, the souled beings will not be here much on this planet. It is the aliens who will come up. They will take on. I mean, maybe they will have all kind of space flights, because by that time that technology they will bring in. And technology already exists. Whatever the technology the aliens have, we are going to have those technologies. We will travel from one planet to another, one star system to another star.
But we will not be existing, no? In terms of
Of course,
soul.
we will not be.
So all this is like, it will be just like the virtual world becoming all the real world.
Exactly.
And it is just like cosmic play going on.
There is a cosmic play, unless a king gets bored and then he will make it interesting in different ways. King
Like this, all these asteroids going and the satellites, everything will be like that only. More or less it can be.
It will become more technological. It will become less emotionally.
This emotion thing will go.
Emotional quotient will go away. One of the things that distinguishes a human from the extraterrestrials is they don't have emotions.
Right.
They have a brilliant mind, but the emotional factor is missing, and that is why they were actually sucking the humans, abducting the humans, and putting us through all kind of tortures in order to experiment why these people have fear, why these people have anger, why these people have all kind of emotional outbursts, why they cry. They wanted to figure out what this game is. What they couldn't understand was a part of this thing was also put into us by the Supreme Being.
And if emotions will be not there, we as normal people, we will say that emotions are not, then what's the use of life? Emotion makes it different. Of course, that emotions, that anger and all is not nice, but the happiness and all is so beautiful to
But
experience.
most of us don't have the happiness.
99% fall into that category. Yes,
Yes.
more than that also.
And you will also find people who are less emotional, they are more productive in life. They deliver more. The corporate world, if you want to succeed, emotions will become a hindrance, right?
I've been connecting with the book for last few months, Pradeep ji. But sometimes the answer which comes brings lot of turmoil. That's what we were discussing downstairs also. How to accept those answers. They ask for
Why answers?
no, the when I connect with the book and I use the mantra, the answers or the guidance which comes brings lot of turmoil. And ask for some you have to just move out of your comfort zone. Sometimes I resist a lot, and currently I'm resisting some answer lot. So how to-
One thing I know, that God doesn't allow you to be in your comfort zone. So I had my own challenges.
Yeah, every time that is.
it becomes very fearful also, like
It's almost the way I deal with it is I remind myself that I said I will do the work of God, I will follow the will of God, and maybe there will be consequences. And I'm not saying there are not consequences, but I go ahead, and when the consequences show up in life, I silently observe them, and they come up. They create their own drama, they create their own turmoil, and then I see them subsiding. But if I don't follow the will of God, I create the turmoil within me. When I follow the will of God, the turmoil shows up outside of me. Either way, there is going to be a turmoil, so I prefer the turmoil outside of me rather than within me.
okay.
That means without that emotions going up and down, it will go on, but inside you are.
That means stepping out of your comfort zone.
And you will always thank yourself every time you move out of your comfort zone, even though at that point of time when you're moving out, it could be almost like heartbreaking, or maybe physically too much demanding, or emotionally very challenging, whatever it is. Right? Right. Thank you. I didn't go into that. Whatever she said, I responded to that. Okay.
कल मैं आया था आपके घाटकोपर में, तो अब
जी।
मंदिर के बारे में कुछ बात हो रहा था। तो वो किंग है, वो सबको उलझाए रखते हैं, उसे मंदिर नहीं जाना और लाइक दैट कुछ मैंने।
किंग कहाँ बोलते हैं मंदिर नहीं जाना? किंग तो बोलते हैं मंदिर जाना।
किंग जाना बोले मंदिर जाना, इधर अपने वो हमको उलझाए रखने के लिए सब करते हैं। तो हमारा जो अपब्रिंगिंग है, टोटल मंदिर और ये सब है, संस्कार है। कभी मंदिर तो जगह जगह है, इतने सारे मंदिर बन रहे, तो मंदिर में नहीं जाना और उसको कैसे, मतलब वो एकदम दिमाग में ही नहीं जम रहा, किस ढंग से उसको कर सकते हैं और उससे क्या फ़ायदा है?
परमात्मा के पास जाके फायदा तो कुछ भी नहीं है।
फ़ायदा मीन्स हमारे जो अंदर उसके बारे में बहुत से बिलीव्स बने हुए कुछ भी है, तो उसको क्या करें?
हाँ, देखिए आपके पास
इधर भी आते हैं
पहले
सुनने, मनोजी का कुछ भी है, ये हमारे गुरु है हमारे, तो अभी हम क्या करें उसके लिए आगे?
वो आप बोलते गुरु, मैं नहीं मानता हूँ।
मैं तो मानता हूँ, लेकिन आपका पहले सवाल में आता है। दूसरा तो आपका कमेंट था, सवाल नहीं था।
कमेंट नहीं था, मतलब कंफ्यूज।
ओके। परमात्मा दरअसल आपको एक समझ देते हैं कि इसने मंदिर को इसलिए बनाया, मस्जिद को, गुरुद्वारे को इसलिए बनाया कि वो इंसान इसमें इतना उलझा रहे कि जब परमात्मा उसके पास आएगा तो वो यही कहेगा कि भगवान तो मेरे पास है, वो मेरे मंदिर में है, तुम्हारा मंदिर किधर है? अच्छा चलो तुम परमात्मा हुए, तो हम तो हमारी हर मन्नत लेके उनके पास जाते हैं, तो हम हमारी मन्नत लेके आपके पास आएंगे, क्या आप हमारी मनोकामना पूरा करोगे? तो परमात्मा यही बोलेंगे कि हम नहीं करेंगे। फिर आप यही बोलोगे, फिर हम क्यों आपके पास आए? तो परमात्मा कहते हैं मत आओ, क्योंकि जब आप एक पल के लिए परमात्मा से बात भी करोगे ना, तो परमात्मा का काम खत्म हो जाएगा। परमात्मा को किस चीज में इंटरेस्ट है? दो ही चीज में, आपका कर्म खत्म हो जाना चाहिए, और दूसरा, सॉरी, ये आपका आखिरी जन्म होना चाहिए, और दूसरा आपका जो आत्मा है वो उनके पास वापस जाना चाहिए। तो जब आपने एक पल परमात्मा को देख लिया, परमात्मा का काम खत्म हो गया। फिर परमात्मा यही बोलता है, अच्छा ऐसा है, आपको बहुत मनोकामना पूरा करना है, तो फिर आप भगवान के पास रहो। तो ये समझ पा रहे हो जो मैं इशारा कर रहा हूँ जिस चीज का?
उलझे हुए रहो।
दोनों उलझे हुए रहो। परमात्मा को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, उनको खाली आपका एक पल चाहिए। और जब तक आप अपने डाउट्स को परमात्मा के पास रखते हो, तब तक तो परमात्मा आपका उनका काम खत्म कर लेते हैं। अब परमात्मा को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता आप उनके पास आए या नहीं आए। थोड़ा क्लैरिटी आ रहा है? थोड़ा सा आ रहा है ना?
सो मुझे ये पूरे कॉन्वर्सेशन से ये मतलब आई एम जस्ट अंडरस्टैंडिंग समथिंग लाइक पहले जो था एक पीरियड जहाँ पे आई कैन जस्ट रिलेट वन स्टोरी, दैट इज दुर्गा एंड रामकृष्ण। सो दुर्गा को पाने के लिए हिज गुरु से इसकी यू कट हर एंड देन यू विल अटेन हर, ऐसा जो एक स्टोरी लाइन था।
जी।
So now at this point of time, I don't know why, but I just feel this, that now as we follow Guru, okay, so now is it like, and his soul, he's also in a soul body, as you said that in 2015 you started this work with God.
Yes.
So I feel our Guru passed on in 2016. Acha. So I just feel that is it a message for us that this Guru Parampara which is going on, so it's a message from your side that cut down this breakage and move forward, like how it happened with Ramakrishna, with Durga.
I am not giving any such message, okay?
You're not giving this message.
Number one. Number two, everything, I am only telling you what God told me to say to the humans. What humans will do with that information is for every human to decide. I will not tell you how to live. I will not tell you what to do. These two things I am not going to tell you. So do not ask me about what you should do now.
I'm not asking you about that. It
No,
is just that
Because you asked me like that am I telling you to let go of the Guru Parampara? I am not telling you any such thing.
yeah, it's not about that, but is it like Guru, this terminology can also be, we can get detached from. This is a message.
Then let me tell you, Guru is still in the human form. Let me tell you that even Shiva has failed. And if Shiva has failed, how can a Guru succeed? Because Shiva got deceived by the deception of the king. And if Shiva was deceived, every Guru has been deceived. I tell people, I do not talk about our current Gurus because they are contemporary and they are beautiful individuals. They are beautiful human beings. I do not talk about them. I talk about a Guru who came, let's say, 2000 or 3000, whatever times back, 2500. And this one, what was his own journey? He went to every Guru. At that point, I'm talking about Gautam Buddha. He went to every Guru that there was. And he did every spiritual practice that was humanly possible to do. And for many years, till one point of time, he became so weak that he couldn't cross a stream which any human was easily crossing. And whatever little strength he had while he was crossing the stream, even that left his body and he fell down unconscious. Someone came and gave him milk or whatever that was given, and it is said he regained his consciousness and he went and sat near a tree. And what did he then decide? He said, I came to know or become free from my suffering, from my pain. And I have not become that. So I sit here under this tree, and now either I am going to become free or I am going to die. With that intention, he sat down. And it said he sat and sat and sat, and then one day he became free. Now, up to here is interesting, but it becomes more interesting now, because this guy thought that I now know how to make others free. And that is where he became inauthentic, because he didn't know. What did he teach to other people? He taught them meditation. But this guy was meditating. Now Buddha is cutting me down. So how did Buddha become inauthentic? Because he felt he knew how to become what he became. So this guy sat under a tree and he got a both. Both means realization. And from that both, he became a Buddha, the one who is realized. And the tree became known as the Bodhi tree, as if the tree allowed him to become realized. And people go and sit under that tree, hoping that they will also one day become Buddha. But that is the story of the tree. But this gentleman, after he became enlightened, he started telling people, I will show you the way to become enlightened. What did he say? Do meditation. What did he say? Live in the right way. So right action, that eightfold path, all the right things. But did Buddha really become enlightened like that by doing all those things? It was out of utter frustration when he gave up and he was willing to die. And he just sat there waiting for death to come. That death did not show up. And what showed up was the realization that now you are free. But he did not have the intelligence to understand that I did not become free because of what I did. I became free in spite of what I did. That intelligence was lacking. Why was it lacking? For the simple reason that he was hypnotized into believing that he became free because of what he did. And he started teaching people that you do these things and you will also become free like me. You will become a realized being like me. This is where he became inauthentic. So I just tell you about the gurus.